Today we are going to discuss on particularly on the how the Indian SME can explore new business opportunity, emerging business opportunity in US market. We are aware that the China has done a lot of issues, created a lot of issues. Therefore, a lot of US companies are looking a new business partner, particularly for India. And will be a very interesting and useful for the Indian SME perspective. Today we are going to speak on the particularly how Indian SMEs can take advantage of the particularly the opportunities available in India and US. And therefore we have today one of the my guests and one of the my best friend from the business community who has already given the responsibility as a chairman for India US SME Business Council for USA, and he is going to focus particularly on he is going to create a bridge between India and US for sharing knowledge, supporting Indian SMEs to enter in US market, and of course to support the Indian SMEs and US SMEs to explore business partnership on a different level. So I will not take much time, but I would like to introduce Joseph LeBas, who has been working in this sector in industry for a long time and has a good knowledge, experience, and contacts in US market where our Indian SME can be benefited. Joseph, welcome to our program. This is a very unique program, particularly to showcase, exploring, focusing on the SME sector.
Thank you, Chandrakant, and thank you for the honor of this post as chairman of the India-US SME Business Forum. I have been, as you know, visiting India for almost 20 years now, and have worked alongside Indian SMEs. I have used them in my own business and software over the years, and it gives me quite a thrill to be sitting here in Mumbai as we face challenges but many opportunities as we go forward in all of our businesses on both sides of the ocean.
Friends, SME Chamber of India is playing very important role for last 28 years. And we are putting efforts for the bringing the different types of companies together, different type of the technology together, and supporting SMEs for the explore emerging business opportunity in different market. SME Chamber of India has brought out very unique platform called India US SME Business Council, which is working for last 12 years. We have more than at least 20,000 companies in India. Those have shown interest, particularly for the establishing cooperation with the US SMEs. So this India SME Business Council will be working very hard. Will be working on in USA for front, particularly for identifying the businesses in US. So Joseph, can you tell me about particularly the current situation in USA where government is supporting industry, SMEs, and particularly the businesses to restart, to come on the track, and how the government is looking particularly support for the SME sector?
Yes. Well, quite honestly, it has, with everything we went through in 2020, the U.S. government, particularly the Small Business Administration, has really stepped up. And it's helped, even in a rather bleak situation, as we all face globally, helped SMEs in the U.S. There were a variety of different tools in place with funding that many small businesses were able to take advantage of. Perhaps some of the members in India have heard of them, but I'll describe them. One of them was PPP, which is a Paycheck Protection Program, and it basically incented U.S. companies to retain employees rather than lay them off in the face of the catastrophic effects of the pandemic. And if you were able to retain employees and keep them on your payroll, then basically the SBA, Small Business Administration, gave you a loan which then converted into a forgivable loan, which became a grant in effect. And that was much needed capital for the SME community. And you had to be a small business. Those loans were not given to IBM or Merck or some of the large companies. They were given only to SMEs. So that was extremely powerful. And I believe at last glance, about 1 million companies plus took advantage of these loans. In addition, the SBA, and there was actually a second round that was initiated earlier this year. So many companies got to take advantage of 2 PPP loans. Also, there was what was called the SBA ILDL loan, which was basically a term for disaster loan. This loan came out and it basically afforded SMEs the ability to take a loan which was deferred for 2 years and then payable back over 30 years at a very low interest rate of 3.25%.
Okay.
So again, the injection of capital at a time when US SMEs needed it most really assisted US SMEs to withstand an unexpected event and get back on their hands. So in addition, the SBA provided other resources such as assistance, advice, tax advice. The government also extended the tax deadlines. So I think if you look back and step back out of the business and really dispassionately look at what the government did for SMEs in 2020 and now going into 2021, it was a great partner.
So
Yeah.
you want to say that SBI has taken very good lead to support US companies, especially SMEs.
Yeah.
Friends, similarly, our Indian government has also supported us, brought stimulus package for the revival of SME sector. Those are under pressure or under restructuring. So they are given the proper handholding and support by the Reserve Bank of India and particularly from the Ministry of MSME and Ministry of Finance. Friends, the SME Chamber of India, along with the India-US SME Business Council, identifying the partners for the contract manufacturing, because most of the US companies now gone back from or taking out their businesses from the China, and they are looking strategic partner, particularly India. So how we can make a planning, particularly for the bringing the Indian SMEs and US SMEs together to explore the strategic partnership? What will be your thoughts on this thing?
Yes, I think as we're all entrepreneurs, friends, right? We, especially now, we've all been busy, focused within our own businesses, right? I think it's clear to say that both Indian SMEs and US SMEs have been looking inside their business, and they don't really, even if they want to reevaluate their trade partners, they don't necessarily know where to start. As Chandrakant, as you say, quite honestly, now they might look at their trade partners, US SMEs, and say, I have Chinese trade partners that maybe I want to reevaluate.
Yes.
Right? And I might want to reevaluate them on the basis of price, quality, perhaps even political reasons, right? But if I want to evaluate a different region, a different area, perhaps India, I've always thought well of India along those same dimensions, price and quality, right? How do I start? How do I find a trade partner in India? Well, that is the conduit we have to set up, and we will go about it by reaching the different economic development authorities of the US, identifying, matching the different sectors within the very established Indian SME Chamber and Business Forum that you have set up over 28 years, in matching those companies together, creating forums and events within the US. So if I am a US SME and I want to reevaluate my trade partners, I can now find a conduit to say, okay, I'm in packaging, I'm in pharmaceuticals, I'm in automotive. Now I have a way to identify how to start the discussion.
Okay. So in the first step, how we will be identifying the partners, particularly from the setting up businesses in USA, because most of the Indian SMEs are looking to set up businesses in USA. So I have suggested, Joseph, that find out the 4 states, 4 states where we can set up businesses where taxation is less or zero taxation, and where in which state we can find easily manpower, businesses, procurement. supply, and built up very good supply chain management in that region. So, what are the the provinces or states you can suggest us where we can explore our business partnership with the US companies in these four states?
Yes. Well, let me say one thing too. In reviewing the numbers, I was quite surprised, but maybe not so surprised. In 2020, 4.4 billion or million, excuse me, 4.4 million new companies were started. 24% increase over the prior year. So you would think in 2020 new businesses went down, instead they went up by a factor of 24% in the face of the pandemic. And some of that was attributed to there was much more government funds than in past recessions, but new business modalities began as well. So I guess I say that because it is a good time to start business in the United States. And as you say, a lot of states are welcoming new business. Okay. And so, if you look at the SME India roster, there's a lot of manufacturing, right? And the traditional manufacturing states of Illinois, perhaps Wisconsin, are always attractive. But the southern United States is really benefiting from quite a boom right now. And the states where there's embracement, the governments are looking to bring down regulations for new businesses, low tax states such as Tennessee. Florida, of course, is having quite a boom right now because there's no lockdown, there's no state income tax. But, the southern states, a lot of manufacturing has been moving now to southern states, Tennessee, perhaps South Carolina, even Alabama and Mississippi. These are all good targets that if Indian SMEs were going to bring manufacturing facilities, distribution facilities, they're all prime located, good quality of life, good employment population. So I would say, if you had to take me to four, I would say probably still Illinois, because there's still a lot of manufacturing there. I would say definitely Tennessee. I would say Alabama, South Carolina, and Florida.
So overall, we can identify 4 to 6 states where we can explore business opportunity for Indian SME. Rather, here I would like to give a message to the Indian SMEs that those SMEs are looking to set up businesses there. You can make a proper planning, you can make your profile, share with us, and definitely we can identify your partner, because most of the Indian government, how they are thinking to provide a plug and play industrial premises. Similarly, the plug and play industrial premises is also available in USA. So we are identifying, we are supporting the companies, those are looking for this kind of opportunity, but we want official support. If you want official support from us, you have to prepare your plan, business plan, and of course, what kind of business activity you want to do. There we can support you. Another point is, I would like to suggest that those companies are looking for a particularly strategic partnership in USA or a marketing, distributorship, franchise, where also we are working and we can support Indian SMEs. According to the US law, we can introduce your product. And for that purpose, what is your suggestion, Joseph, on this matter?
To introduce products?
Yes. Products, machines, equipments.
Absolutely. Well, the U.S. has always been a marketing leader, right? So those are the services that we are going to look to provide as the India-U.S. Business Forum, right? We look at it as we know that if you're going to come to the U.S., you're going to need almost a concierge services of lots of different services around promotion, and we thankfully have a long roster of partners, marketing partners, promotion partners, joint venture partners. So we will try to basically provide a series of different people to help you promote, because we know it's coming a long way. We know it can be somewhat daunting for you to think of establishing your company across the country. So You can definitely depend on India US SME Business Council for those
Okay.
needs.
Perfect. Friends, there is a huge opportunity for US SMEs, particularly companies those are coming out from China. Now we are receiving the regularly inputs from the various parts of the US that the companies are looking for industrial partner, companies are looking to industrial premises, those are having established businesses in India. Joe, how we can support particularly the US companies to enter the Indian market because SME Chamber of India will play a very important role. But if we have to integrate the US SMEs together, particularly sector-wise, how we can play important role in during this time? Because most of the US SMEs are looking to come out from China and going to Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea. From there, how we can encourage them to come to India and to establish cooperation with the Indian SMEs?
Well, I think, again, as I said earlier, the knowledge of the capabilities that India provides is key. I was fortunate on this trip to go see an industrial park here in Maharashtra, and I was blown away by the capabilities that exist there. The cross section of different industries. I believe there was 5 different industrial sectors all in one park, right? So the partnership opportunities that are here, the capabilities, the technology transfer that exists here is much better than in other countries. And the US and India has a long history of working. And I think it's almost just a reintroduction of the capabilities of India now. That for 20 years or longer, US and Indian companies have worked together. And if we could share those types of capabilities once again, we could show the power of industrial parks and different centers around the country, whether they are here or Gujarat or Hyderabad, and we can cross reference the different sectors together. I think that mapping will be definitely key to US SMEs, so that they can visualize the possibilities.
Perfect. A lot of SMEs in India are looking for marketing and distributorship support because Indian companies are manufacturing quality product. And nowadays, to beat the China or to compare the Chinese manufacturing sector, our Prime Minister has given the boost in India, particularly to support the Indian manufacturing industry and SME sector to manufacture locally because on the electronics, electricals, product, IT services, digital platform, all this system has changed now because the Corona has taught many lessons to everyone. So how you would like to support Indian companies, particularly to identify latest technology, affordable technology, and patented technology?
Yes.
Because this is a unique system where US company can enter in Indian market, particularly to sell the product. I'll give you an example.
Please.
I have visited 2016 Chicago, that packaging expo, and during the packaging expo, I observed that most of the large corporate they are not entered in Indian market because they have a large quality, large quantity, large size of machines, equipment. They're still not entered in India market. They said we don't have agenda for India market. So there is a huge agenda can be created for the SME sector. So what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the power of SMEs is entrepreneurship, the ability to move faster and more nimbly, right? And I think any company, I was fortunate enough to build 4 startups, and we always looked at, we were always competing against larger companies, right? So we were always looking to find the faster path. Where can we go faster, right? So if I'm a US SME or I'm an Indian SME, I need to take my head out of my business and say, well, wait a second. If someone can identify to me a faster path with a higher gain, then I'm going to take it. And that is the way a US SME, an entrepreneur, looks at it. So if Poland says, hey, look, I can enter a market of 1.3 billion consumers. If somebody introduces me to the right people. And it's not going to cost me a lot of money. And there is now technology there that I can reference. I can have some technology alliances. Obviously, India's technology reputation is gold standard.
Okay.
Then I will do that.
Oh,
Right. So those are the introductions that we can foster as part of the business forum across oceans.
Friends, we are in middle of discussion, and I observe that many SMEs, when they approach us or they interact with us, not understanding the properly about the latest affordable and patented technology, because in the world market there are plenty of the inventors who is inventing the latest technology, converting into the like a advanced technology, and also they are providing the value addition in the process or in a manufacturing industry, particularly industrial automation. Since we are entering into industry 4.0, and where we are now supporting the Indian SMEs to adapt that,
Hmm.
adapt the advanced technology, industrial automation for producing the quality products. But there is a huge gap for particularly in the finance to this kind of technology. Mr. Leba, how we can support Indian companies, particularly to explore investment opportunity,
Hmm.
because most of the Indian companies are looking for investment under the ECB or direct debt funding or particularly the venture capital or private equity. What is your thoughts on this? Because we are discussing on this point for last many days, and we want to support Indian companies. Those are growing companies. Those are achieving their target growth, and mostly the profitability. Those are enhancing day by day. We want to support by the infusing the extra investment of sufficient investment and useful investment for expansion.
No, it's I think a great topic of discussion that we won't solve tomorrow, but it's something that I have a personal interest in as, again, an entrepreneur all my life, building companies, sometimes with capital, sometimes with no capital. So, the bottom line is this, is that, and I've spoken to many companies here on this visit who talk about wanting to have growth capital, but not wanting to go through the traditional Indian channels. And the short answer is that there is capital that would want to invest in India, perhaps not institutional capital in the US, but different types of investors. And I believe that we can build that bridge over time and bring that to bear once we have the same level of visibility and transparency into what the Indian SMEs are doing. So that will be a charter of the India-US SME business forum, is to arrange that funding. Now, I will also say that when Indian companies come to the US, that there is capital available for them there as well. However, and even SBA funds. However, they will have to be lawful residents, so they will have to be along an immigration path towards a green card. They'll have to have a conditional green card or a full green card to enjoy that type of funding in the US. But corporate funding is plentiful in the US when they come to the US. So all of those types of things are available if they are coming to the US. But to your precise question, these are all things that we want to explore. Cross-border funding. It's not as easy as just asking for it, but with transparency and identification of the business, then I believe there is private funding that could be made available to them.
Yes. So friends, without funding, any company or any business will not grow. A sufficient funding is required for each and every businesses. Now coming back to the point about the events happening in USA, events happening in India, because of the corona, we have stopped events, meeting people, personal meetings, personal visit. But now this is a right time to start new business, start new activities, and to participate in exhibitions and conferences. We, as a SME Business Council, and particularly the SME Chamber of India, are going to take a lead that at least every quarter we will be sending or alternate month a delegation from India, particularly to exploring the business opportunity in a sector wise. So we are focusing on a 4, 5, 6 sectors in a first phase. Second phase will be another 4 to 5 sectors. So similarly, we will be working through US to India, where Joseph will going to play very important role, because US government is also exploring very good business opportunity in India, particularly supporting their large corporate to set up business in India. What is your thoughts on this? Now, how the US government should act depend on this matter, because US companies are looking at large corporate India, but US SMEs can explore partnership with Indian companies.
Yes. Well, again, I think I personally was very encouraged that India has always had a ministry position for the SME, right? And in my charter here, we will be interacting quite heavily with all levels of government in the United States, both federal, state, and local, to promote, not only the SMEs in the U.S., but the bridge back to India.
Yes.
Right. So we will push quite heavily from our side in the U.S. in our charter to bring SMEs back to India as well, in the same kind of very robust event schedule that you've seen the Indian forum led by yourself do. We will be setting up also in the U.S. to make sure that all of the stakeholders in the U.S. government are aware of our mandates. And again, I think it's just knowledge identification of the opportunities that exist in India, and it isn't a hard thing to sell, quite honestly, Shaktikant, right? The promise of the Indian market is just, oh yes, I know about India, but now I really want to understand the opportunity for my particular business, and now you're giving me an opportunity to do that.
Okay, great. Friends, we are talking, we are discussing, and we are debating on this subject, where how we can support Indian SMEs to explore emerging business opportunity in USA. Now we are not talking only, we are practically working on it. And I'm sure that this practical work will be useful for you when you will approach us with your proper proposal, a proper project, and proper requirements. Then only we'll be able to support you. So Joseph, this was a very good interaction and discussion. Finally, I would like to suggest you to give a message to the Indian SMEs, because Indian market is different, US market is different. US mindset of the industry is different, government is different. So since you are having the long-term association of the India, last 20 years, you have been to here in India, you are interacted with the Indian companies. So what is your message to the Indian SMEs? Those are now first time doing business in US.
Yes. Well, I would say it's been a great joy dealing with Indian people for so long, and it's always a great joy to be here in India. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do so for a while because of the pandemic, but here I am. Our cultures work very well together, as we know. Many Indian families have family in the U.S., or their families have family, or they send their children to university in the U.S. or want to send their children to the U.S. So the logical next step is now to expand your business in the U.S. And my message is, it is my charter now to help make that happen. My charter and my team's charter and my network now. So when my friend Chandrakant approached me with this idea, it was a great honor and actually a very easy proposition to accept, because it is a joy to be able to help fulfill a mission such as this. So if you're even thinking about how do I want to take the next step, expand, I'm thinking about where should I go? I mean, the U.S. is a logical choice because our cultures are so, you know, closely linked. And don't worry about what perceived as complex. We can make it less complex. We can make it more straightforward. You know that you'll have a friendly connection on the other side of the ocean. So that's my message.
Good. So many Indian entrepreneurs, particularly the high net worth, looking to explore, businesses in different countries. When we discuss about particularly setting a business, so that means, investing in USA, starting a business, starting a registration of company, starting a new opportunities there. But along with that, some entrepreneurs cannot take their family. I know that you are also working in the EB5 program, which is one of the investment program where Indian company can explore under the L1 visa or a EB1 or EB2 visa or EB5 visa. What is your thoughts on this? How this can be useful for the Indian SMEs, particularly entrepreneurs, those are looking to settle down their businesses, settle down their families?
Yeah, no, I've been involved in the EB5 program for some years now. And the reason is I believe it's an elegant program because it benefits the whole circle of stakeholders. I'm somewhat passionate about it because it creates American jobs where American jobs are needed and higher unemployment areas. And it allows the overseas investor, in this case, an Indian family, if they chose to participate, the ability to gain green cards for the whole family. Basically, the head of the family and the spouse, and all of the children under the age of 21. Right? It doesn't go up. You can't bring your parents, but everyone else below you. And that is very powerful for one investment that they get back after 5 years.
Okay.
Right? So as we talked about earlier, if you were going to expand your business, to take advantage of everything the U.S. can do, you have to be a legal resident anyway. So, basically with a green card, you have all of the rights of a U.S. citizen, all the rights I have outside the right to vote. So it seems to be just a no-brainer in a lot of cases. But, that to me, a green card, an immigration scheme really only makes sense as part of a consolidated package, right? And that's what we want to put together for the Indian SMEs. Let's talk about a full plan. And immigration is a piece of it, family is a piece of it, child education, where will I live, what kind of bank account will I have, what kind of insurance policy. We don't want to just say, get a green card without the rest of the plan.
Perfect. So this is also another opportunity for the HNIs, entrepreneurs, to along with your business, you can settle your family for your best future. So friends, India SME Business Council, India US SME Business Council, and SME Chamber of India, together we are working very hard to put efforts, particularly to bring the Indian and US SMEs together, where they can support each other, they can explore emerging business opportunity. And of course, during this pandemic, those have lost their businesses, those are closed down businesses, or those are looking to transform, or those are looking to expand business. Here is a platform, India US SME Business Council. You can become member, you can take advantage and come along with some proposals, some projects where we can support. Joseph is having very good team in USA. We are expanding our team in India also. We are expanding team in US. And this is the right time because US companies going back from China. Instead of going back, we want to bring them here to in India to explore emerging business opportunities. With this word, I'm thankful to Joseph for sharing his thoughts, particularly showing more interest and encouraging the Indian SMEs to establish their businesses in USA and also to establish the partnership with the US company for doing business in India. Thank you very much, Joseph, and all the best to you for your next tenure. And I hope that next time when we meet, at least 100 companies should be benefited from our efforts. Thank
That
you.
is a worthy goal. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. All the best.